Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I am on my lunch break and I had about 10 minutes and I just wanted to come and talk to y'all for a minute and tell y'all how I've been feeling lately. I didn't get a chance to upload a video that I recorded the other day, but it will come out. It's late, but I'm going to post it and I'm going to put it out there for you to view. I thank God for today. And I just wanted to come and encourage you. I always like to get on here and be a little encouraging to the people out there because that's who I am. And sometimes we get to a place where we feel like we can't say how we feel. And I know when you get on YouTube, it's like I hear a lot of times people say, nobody really cares about you or how you feel. But I'm a firm believer that you're on here to talk about what you need to talk about. Hence, that's why it's called YouTube, because you are on here talking to the people about what you think matters. I feel there's an audience out there for everyone. And it may take some people some time to find that audience. And I pray and I hope that I have found mine. So I wanted to talk to you today from a book that I work on sometimes, and it's called Managing Your Mood. And it came to my attention today that sometimes when people make you upset and angry, what do? And you cannot let people control how you feel. My thought on that is that it's not that people are controlling your feelings, because your feelings are your feelings. I think that the actions behind the feelings is what counts to say that somebody controlled you. Example, I get upset, I get angry about something. I'm okay to have those feelings. But if I take plates and I take chairs and I start throwing them, now that's a problem. Now I have allowed myself to get so upset to the point that you could say my feelings were controlled. Right? I was out of control. I let another individual control my feelings to the point I got angry enough to throw things. I feel like sometimes we have to be transparent. Sometimes we have to just say how we feel about things, even if it upsets the other individual. Sometimes things isn't always pretty when we're talking. So I just wanted to come on here and just say a little something and just talk a little bit about my feelings. So, it used to be a scripture that I used to read all the time. This particular scripture is from Psalms 143 and 4, but the way they wrote it was like in the New King James Version. It says, "My spirit is overwhelmed within me. My heart within me is distressed." And sometimes I feel that way. Sometimes I feel like what I got going on the inside is a lot. And I know a lot of us can raise our hand and put it down in the comments. And sometimes you feel overwhelmed with life. And that's okay. That's natural. The second part says, "My heart within me is distressed." And because you're overwhelmed with life, it affects this. It affects how you feel. It affects your heart. You know, sometimes people have that saying. The saying goes, "I am heartbroken. I have heartache." And it's not always because of love. It's because there are things in life that distresses us and overwhelms us to the point where we get distressed. We get stimulated. We get stressed out. I also used to read the scripture, and I will put these scriptures down the bottom so you can go back at your leisure and read them. I used to read a scripture to myself that says, "I have roared by the reason of the disquietness in my heart." Meaning, for me, there is an upsetment, a disquietness, a peacefulness that's in my heart that makes me upset, that makes me roar, that makes me go out of bounds of myself. And that's the reason why I do it. I act the way I act. And the reason is because of the disquietness in my heart. My heart is roaring. My heart is sad. My heart is crying. My heart is in distress. And I'm coming here to tell you, don't be distressed. Don't be overwhelmed. Find the peace that passes understanding. Find that peace within yourself that will help you to be what you need to be. Sometimes you got to sit and relax and say to yourself, I'm not doing it today. Hey y'all, I'm sorry about that. It was a lot of noise, so I had to cut the video because I am in my car. Like I said, on the last 10 minutes of my lunch break, so I'm not going to try not to let this be 10 minutes long if I can help it. So you may hear the sound of the train horn and the cars going by, but the reason that I'm coming to you today is talking about being scattered, talking about being overwhelmed with life, talking about being distressed in your heart. And sometimes we need to find ways to clear the cobwebs, to find peace within ourselves so that we don't have those feelings of distress, no peace, and anger, and being out of control with our emotions. I want to encourage you to think on positive things. If you're a spiritual person, pray. Read your word. Find books that will help you to get yourself together. Self-help books. You know, sometimes you got to think about things that's going to help you out. And I'm the first one to say, work on yourself. Get yourself together. You're not being selfish when it comes to your mental health. When it comes to knowing that there are things in life that we just can't control. We cannot control how people feel about us. We cannot control when stuff happens and we get upset about it. What we can do is control our actions. But feelings is a part of human nature. Being angry is a part of human feelings. Being upset, being happy, being sad. You're going to have your ups and your downs, or they say your highs and your lows. My sister told me once when I was talking to her, and I was just talking to her and just saying how I felt about some things in my life. And she basically said, listen, still post your video. Get on YouTube and be transparent and tell people how you feel. That's why I'm being transparent today. But I wanted to read something to you today. It's called Scattered. And it's by one of my authors that I love, the book called Managing Your Moods. And it is a study guide. It's for women of faith, managing your moods. It says, we all know what it means to scatter something. Scattering is haphazard, sprinkling. Lots of things scatter. We say we've had scattering of snow. We scatter fertilizer on our lawns. Chickens scatter when a hawk flies overhead. In one of Jesus' parables, he talks about the sower scattering seeds in the field. We talk about scattered rain in the forecast, confetti scattered at a party. We have scattered rugs in our homes, and sometimes we need to gather together our scattered thoughts before we speak. And I can attest to that. There are times when I have something to say and I feel scatterbrained, and I feel like my thoughts in my mind is all over the place. But sometimes I need to calm myself and say, peace, be still. to get my thoughts together. Sometimes I can be pretty scatterbrained when it comes to right down to it. And I don't like things that are scattered. How many of us can raise our hand when we say we don't like things that are scattered? We don't like things that are out of place and out of bounds. Because we want to always present ourselves 100% to people. We want to always present ourselves as together. And that's not even realistic. What you need to do now, and I'm saying this to myself, and think about what kinds of things should you be avoiding in your life that is causing you emotional distress and causing you to feel like your thoughts are scattered. That is causing you to feel overwhelmed in your spirit and causing your heart to be distressed. Make a list of those things. And then you may have to start doing some elimination. And if those things happen to be a family member, then by God, you might have to get rid of that. And you might have to eliminate them and say, listen, I love you from a distance and we're still family, but I got to protect my peace. And then it goes on to say that sometimes the concept of rest in peace seems like nothing more than a luxurious figment of our imagination. And that is a quote by Lucy Swindle. You can be in the midst of a storm. And I'm going to end with this. You can have peace in the midst of a storm when it's raging all around you. But know this, that God will put some things in your spirit and in your heart that will keep you close. He will give you a prayer to keep you comforted. Because a storm doesn't last always. The song say trouble don't last always. The saying says there's joy in the morning. You won't cry all the time. Why? Because there are seasons of crying, seasons of laughter. And that's in Ecclesiastes. I will definitely put that down for you. But there are times when we laugh and we cry. There are times when we have peace and then there's a storm. We have to find a way to live and maneuver through it all. And I want to just say to you today, be blessed. Find your happy place. Find your peaceful place. And live in that. Be intentional in all that you do on today. Be intentional whatever you do the rest of the week. And know that I'm here for you. Put your comments down below. Tell me if you like this type of content. Tell me if you want to hear something else. Give me a question. Ask me something. I'm here for you. And I just want to say peace and love. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye.